All right, thanks, Andrea. Yeah, and I'm going to use that, aren't I? Hello down the back there. All the naughty boys sit down the back of the bus. That's okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my name's Mark Mannering. I have been and still am, I suppose, a teacher, school teacher, teaching science and chemistry and all the rest of it, but now moved into now for the last 20 years. So we're 20 years old this year, running lots of computer training courses, you name it, we do it. But what I want to do is give a very instant coffee, very brief estimating sort of overview, sort of how many more words can I use to say this, in 10 minutes, an overview of the important aspects that you should think about as far as training in general is concerned. Okay, we're not just talking about computer training, we're talking about all types of training, compliance training, accredited training as well, and some of the things you should think about to try and make it a bit more effective. There's probably hardly anybody you'd come across who'd say that training is a waste of time and so on. I mean, it's part of what we all need to do. We either have to keep it going, or even if you expect your employees to have the skills when they come on board day one working for your organisation, you're going to look at, or you should be looking at, providing some sort of ongoing training, induction, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so Maria said, Mark, you've got 10 minutes to impart all your knowledge. So this is why it's just going to be a very brief overview. Lots of things to think about, lots of things for you to take away with. I've got the handouts for the slides over there, so you can pick those up as you go. But yeah, a few important things to think about. Okay, how do you use these computers? So training, making it worthwhile. Now there's two main types of training. Some of it's compulsory almost, so there's accredited compliance training, certificate for in whatever, forklift driver's ticket and so on. Okay, some of that training has to be done, and that's through workplace health and safety as well. Obviously that they have to have that sort of ticket, or they if they haven't got it, then you might provide that as part of their employee job description and so on. There's also non-accredited, non-compliance training, and that's probably the hardest to try and plan and implement, where they're possibly not getting recognition for that or any sort of qualification, but it's things like customer service skills, telephone skills, advanced Microsoft Excel, for example, and so on. Okay, so that's probably one of the hardest sort of things to get your head around, to say, well, is it worthwhile, and so on. Okay. Now, I'm not including any sort of employee induction. They call it onboarding, on-ramping. I think they're American terms where the employees need to know the processes and the systems of how to work in a particular organisation and what the rules are and regulations and so on. Okay. So some questions to ask yourself. Does your workplace currently provide training? And no, why not? Okay, well, it takes up time and it's not relevant, and all the other usual things. So they're rhetorical questions for you to think about later on. And if you do provide training, yes, I do. We do provide lots of training. Well, why do you? Okay, it's another positive way of looking at not so much no, I don't, and why not. It's more so, well, why? Why do you provide training? Is there follow-up? Is there evaluation of that training? And I'll come back to that. Does your workplace expect employees to be skilled up already? Okay, yes or no, I don't. Well, why not? Okay, that's part of their CV, part of their being qualified to work in the business or workplace. And if you do expect them to be skilled up already, well, why? Why do you have to have the particular skills already? Are you going to be developing those skills in those employees as the business grows or changes or whatever it might be? Okay. So some of the challenges as far as training is concerned, a lot of people say, look, training takes up work time. Okay, they're out of the business, they're out of the off the shop floor, takes up work time, not just the training, but the actual organisation of it. It can take a long time to organise a particular sessions, workshops, courses, training, whatever it might be, to talk to the training providers and work out what the content should be, what the outcomes can be as well. So all that can take up a lot of time. Oh yeah, the training is not relevant or practical. Okay, well is that a fault of the training itself or the fault of the proactive, or it should have been proactive, the initial sort of determination or investigation into the training and what the outcomes were and so on. Okay, the training's not effective because the people go back to their old ways. Okay, they go off-site, they're in a training session or workshop and it's not relevant to their particular workplace, so they just go back and do the same old things. And we've seen that a lot, where one or two people just come along, and this is actually the opposite example. One or two people come along, they learn something, and they go back to the workplace where there's about 200 or 300 staff, and that one person goes back all excited, saying, oh, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, and there's a better way to do this and that. And everyone else is saying, well, you know, what are you so excited about? We're just going to go back to, you know, you haven't convinced me. So that's the sort of the turnaround example of what I've got there. Right, on the job learning. Okay, it's not effectively driven or maintained by people on the ground. Okay, so a lot of workplace on the job learning, the people sort of running that, who are the employees or peers or colleagues or whatever, are they technical people? Are they have they got the training qualifications, or have they got training experience to get the thing across? You can waste more time getting peers and colleagues to follow up or even provide training right from the word go. So some of these things you've got to think about. A lot of people talking about online training. Yeah, it's really good, and e-learning and all the rest of it. It's been found to be cheaper and faster, but less effective in changing behaviours in the workplace in particular. There was an article in the Australian recently about online training. Everyone's getting on board, and it's great because it's cheap, but in a lot of cases you get what you pay for. So just got to look at it again. Online training can be very effective, but again, it's investigating it and making sure it's going to achieve those things that you want. Okay, so why train? Some points here. Well, compliance, as I said, they have to have the ticket to drive the forklift or to do whatever it might be. It's all part of their career path. Okay, so do you need the particular training to be accredited? Do they get some qualification for it? Or can they get some RPL? Some of you would know about that, recognition for prior learning. Okay, so it is possible to go to a particular course and not get an actual accredited certificate, but get some sort of recognition of the fact that you've done that, and then it's up to the like the TAFE or the accredited institution to look at that and say, yep, you've done that. We haven't formally assessed you, but you've done the required outcomes, and so you can save yourself time in doing the next certificate course on whatever it might be. You don't need to do that little part of it. Okay, so you're getting credits for it. So that's something to think about and look into as well. Looking after or maintaining their career path or helping them to build that up is, again, although I haven't mentioned it yet, it's investing in those employees. Okay, and that can build morale and so on. We'll come back to that. Okay, the buzzword, fill the gaps. We want to fill the gaps of our training because they're doing it the slow way. We've done some time and motion studies, for example. So think about that, time and motion studies. How long does it take you to do this particular process? Therefore, how much time are you wasting or using up? How much money are we wasting? And what gaps are there that can drive the outcomes a bit more quickly, a bit more efficiently, a bit more effectively? Okay, so standard sort of thing. Save time and money. Yeah, I read somewhere, I remember an old statistic that a one-day training course, a good targeted one-day training course, can save 6 months of a person's salary. Equivalent. 6 months of one person's salary can be saved by a one-day training course, as long as it's targeted and so on. And when you think about it, by the time they go back or they're trying to learn something back at the workplace, they've got 5 or 6 people standing around the whatever it is, around the computer or around the forklift, for example, and they're trying to show each other what to do. You've got 4 or 5 people standing around wasting time trying to show someone what to do and so on. So that's where they get those sorts of statistics from. As I said, it can build morale in people as well. And another stat I saw somewhere, the Chartered Institute for Personnel and Development in the UK, they did lots of studies on why are you sticking around in your workplace? Why aren't you moving on? Okay, this particular workplace, or lots of workplaces, were retaining staff, and 60% said they would rather stay in a workplace that invested in their development, professional development, than go elsewhere who paid them more but didn't invest in their professional development. Okay, so it gives them a sense of, well, do they think a lot about me as an employee because I'm being sent on training courses and they're developing or investing in my skills. It leads to retaining staff, as I said, and obviously that can help to grow business and so on, okay? Lots of things there. So what about the steps? Okay, how to make your training more effective. Some brief steps here. Some of these are fairly obvious, and but a lot of people don't go through it because we don't have time. Or I haven't got time to stop and fill the car up. I've got to get to Melbourne. Okay, so it's more of a proactive thing to think about. Determines the gaps and needs analysis you can carry out. Okay, what outcomes can fill those gaps? Okay, what sort of objectives, they used to call it, what sort of behavioural objectives or skills do we need to fill those gaps? Determine the best vehicle for the training. So once you've worked out what to learn, what your employees need to learn, determine the best vehicle. And that means, do we do on-the-job training? Do we do on-site, off-site? About 60 to 70% of our training is now in the premises of the client, using their systems, using their exact same sort of sample files to learn whatever it might be, documents or Excel spreadsheets or whatever it might be. Is it face-to-face training? Is it e-learning? Is it live webinars? Okay, small chunks. Do they do a whole day course or 2 nights a week for 6 months or half a day, whatever it might be? So that's a big one there too as well. A lot of people learn in different ways. And someone said before, we listen, how much do we listen, or how much do we look at, or how much do we get from just watching and observing, and how much do we learn from doing ourselves and having some hands-on. So that's a really big one, working out the best vehicle. Provide practical relevant training. About 75%, 3/4 of the stuff we do is all customized. There's no off-the-shelf, I just want to learn how to use Excel or learn how to use MYOB. I just want a general sort of generic course. Well, no, that's not going to be effective. What do you specifically need to learn? And so we do a lot of customizing, and you can do this and do that. A lot of toing and froing between ourselves or the provider and the employee, and also with their particular staff as well, not just the employer, but talking through the ranks of what they need to look at and the best ways for them to learn. Okay, make sure that it stimulates the workplace as much as possible. So that's an obvious thing again, whether it's going to be training on-site or off-site. Can we stimulate the workplace in a way that makes it more effective? Okay, and they can apply the work. Okay, that's the big thing, is the provider showing your staff how to apply this learning, this training, to what they need to do back at the shop, or do they have to go back and work it out for themselves? This is how you do it in the big ivory tower, but go back and you work it out for yourselves. Evaluate the training, another big one. Okay, how did it go? Was there a return on investment in that? Again, do another time and motion study. Before the training, after the training, how long does it take them to create their documents or drive the forklift or go through and register a new client or customer of their particular workplace and take them through the sales process? Okay, so evaluate before and after and get a percentage ROI. A lot of people aren't doing that. Okay, get your staff involved in all of those processes. Okay, a lot of organisations, big organisations, have HR coordinators and training coordinators, and they should be, a lot of them do, could do it more often and a bit more effectively, but a lot of them do consult with their staff. What do you think you need in the training? Okay, and I'll come back to some ways you can do that. What do you think you need to learn your stuff a bit better? Because you know it better than me. I'm just the manager. I should know, but you know what's happening at the coalface. What's some ways that you can improve what we're doing with our customers, sales, service, whatever it might be. Okay. Some questions. Okay, what's the return on investment? As I said, can we customise the training? This is what you can ask of the provider. Is it just off-the-shelf stuff, or can we do this and pull out a bit of that and do a bit of this and so on, and create your own and almost copyright it, create your own sort of customised courseware that you can use on an ongoing basis. What training vehicles are available? So another question to ask any provider. Can we do it in small chunks? Can we do it on-site, off-site, e-learning and so on? What training support materials are provided? Everybody loves the fact they get a training manual to take back. Oh, beauty, it's all in here, my little Bible. Okay, I can look at the shortcuts and whatever it might be, go through the things again, go through those steps again. Is it accredited or can RPL be gained? Sometimes that's not the case. We, on an ongoing basis, we ask our big clients, do you need accreditation for this? Do you need RPL? And they said, no, we just want them to learn how to use this better because they've got no idea. It might be a bonus, but we just want them to learn how to use a particular thing better. Okay? And what follow-up support is there afterwards? That's an important thing. If they've got questions afterwards, if your staff have queries, things aren't working with what they're trying to do new at the back of the workplace, can they ring up somebody? I've got a problem here, what do we do here, and so on. So follow-up and support, very important. Okay, analyse, schedule and evaluate, getting towards the end here, 1, 2 and 3. Everybody knows about SurveyMonkey, or you've heard about SurveyMonkey. A couple of clients recently used this and used some built-in training survey templates in SurveyMonkey and sent them all around, just send a link to all their internal staff and said, right, we want you to do this survey. What do you need to learn? What gaps do you think you've got? And so on. And they all came back, 30% need this and 20% need that and 50% don't need any training. They're quite happy. So a lot of stuff there. SurveyMonkey's got their own built-in templates and some information there, and there's the URL. Have a look at it yourself. Okay. In the vet sector, vocational education and training, the vet sector, there's a website there, training.gov.au, that the TAFEs use and RTOs, registered training organisations use. They've done all the work for you. You can go in here and search for particular qualifications, search for particular workplace job descriptions and so on, and see what skills they need to effectively do that particular job in the workplace. Okay, customer service skills, plumbing, whatever it might be. Okay, again, accredited courses, but it's going to give you a list of, gee, they need these skills to do marketing, okay, or to effectively work with customers a lot better. Okay, so you don't need to log in, you don't need to be an RTO, you can go to training.gov.au on the right-hand side, you do a quick search, okay, show me the competencies, which is another fancy term for skills, show me the skills or outcomes that my staff should have. And look at it, list them, right, let's go and get some training, or let's see if they do know these things. Okay, that can be part of your evaluation or analysis, needs analysis to begin with. Okay, then afterwards you can sort of find out if they know how to do that. You can follow up to see if it was effective or not. Okay. On our website, there's always a bit of advertising, isn't there? On our website, we've got a needs analysis, just a simple self-assessment, like a little 20-question quiz on Excel, MYOB, Project, Word, on building more and adding more, and that will tell them at the end, well done, you got 18 out of 20 or whatever, you should do advanced Excel. Or no, sorry, bad luck, go back and start again, you should do Word introduction. So it'll give them a bit of an answer straight away, and a lot of people go through that so that they're not doing a course that's too hard or too easy for them as far as computer training is concerned, computer learning. Okay, so you can all get in there. Again, you just it's all free. Just log in, register a username and password, and away you go. Okay, a lot of people do ring up, and sometimes we talk them out of the training. Okay, because we found out that all they want to do is just learn the latest thing, the whiz bang. Oh well, it's the latest thing. I just want to learn how to, I don't know. But what do you want to do with it? Oh, I'll find out afterwards. And we work out that they didn't really need the training in the second place or the first place. Okay, save them some time and money. Hopefully they come back and do something else. Okay, there's a URL there. So first of all, is the personnel on board? Did you ask them? Do you require, would you like training? They almost will say yes, just to get a day off from work. They do say that. But let's make it a bit more applicable. Do you need accreditation? Talk to the providers first, the training providers. Walk in and say, look, I might get some training off you, then again, I might not. I need to look at this. Let's go back and forth, to and fro. And if it doesn't work, if we don't get the training done, well, it's not bad luck, but you didn't want it or didn't need it, or the provider wasn't the right sort of fit, and so on. Okay, so talk to all the training providers first, not just people like ourselves, but the TAFEs and people like MP personnel. They do lots of soft skills training, customer service and so on. All the TAFEs do the usual stuff as well. Okay, and use those websites, training.gov.au, SurveyMonkey, and ours as well, just to look at some things, to get some ideas. If you're not real sure, get someone in as a bit of a consultant to say, okay, if you've got the budget for it, go through, can you do some analysis? We need a needs analysis. What training do we need? And it will definitely save time and money in the long run. As I said, that one-day course, that statistic I saw a while back, 6 months of a person's salary can be saved by a good, targeted one-day training course. Okay, so getting on to here, training checklist. We don't want to, well, we do want to communicate, we do want to train, but we don't want to just hope. Okay, and it's going to work. Well, you hope it's going to work. You know, you need to have the plan that, yeah, it's going to work because, excuse me, it's going to work because we've done the analysis beforehand, and we're going to follow up the outcomes and so on. We're going to measure it, the effectiveness as well, a little bit later on. So we don't want to do that, just hope. Okay. Good targeted training is always an investment in your personnel and your business and your personnel. Okay, I don't think anybody would argue against that, as long as it's good, targeted, and the work's done beforehand, which is going to save a lot more time down the track. Okay, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. Any questions?